Welcome to 2021's final installment of Tag Me In, where the triple threat brain trust tag over the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of professional wrestling. I, of course, am the unofficially official Lib Dizzle, joined with none other than the purest of hearts, not swayed by the masses, don't need a drink, don't need to smoke, follows his own the straight edge, Scoop, Messiah T.
And if you follow me, I will show you the way. Follow the vision and embrace the vision, and I will show you all the way.
You know, I keep forgetting that you're doing this shit, and every
Mhm.
time it's just I'm thinking you're being clever with these names, and then all of a sudden it's leading to whatever else you got going on. So I,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I, I,
Let's
I
just
don't know.
say, let's just say a new year will be upon us very soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Very soon. Hmm.
um, and I know, ladies, you see a dynamic duo and you don't see the trio.
Yes.
That's because Mr. Jaeger Bombastic So Fantastic is somewhere gallivanting amongst the masses of needy women
Yeah,
alone
the
for the new year.
heartthrob, you know,
But
we'll hold it down.
he will be back. We promise you that. Um, Not much to go over this week. I mean, not
Mm-mm.
surprising, being the fact that it is the holiday both last week and this week.
Hmm.
Most notably, um, we can. I mean, we can go ahead and jump into it. Tony Storm.
Tony Storm.
She requested her release
Hmm.
and was granted it.
And they said it was probably granted too, since the fact of all these other budget cuts,
Hmm.
that it made sense. But you know, since you said that, I did have something.
Hmm.
All right, so somebody compiled a list: Tony Storm,
Hmm.
Amber Moon, Tegan
Hmm.
Knox,
Hmm.
Taya Valkyrie,
Yep.
or Frankie Monet, Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke, Lana, Ruby Riot, Nia Jax, Santana Garrett, the Iconics, Mickey James, and Chelsea Green. You could build a whole promotion with just the women WWE let go this year.
Yeah, you could, which is surprising when you list them off like that because it never registered. Because I mean, I knew Ember was released, but I completely forgot that she was. And then when you brought it back up, it's like, damn, she was released.
Hmm.
Ah, yeah. You know what? And I think before we even get into the whole Tony situation, it this women's division in WWE is really just falling to the wayside of almost complete non-existence.
I mean, if we're looking at SmackDown now,
Hmm.
Charlotte being champion, we have Sasha, Xia Li, Naomi, Natalia, Shayna, and what's her name dabbles every now and then, Sonya.
Hmm.
And that's it.
Wow,
Yeah, that's it.
that list was lackluster.
Yeah, that's it.
And I mean, that's not to say that it's missing star
Oh,
power.
sorry,
It's
and
just it's really
Shotzi.
small.
And Shotzi.
And and do you have the list for Raw?
Raw, we have Becky, Liv, Nikki ASH, Rhea, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Bianca, Doudrop, Tamina, and Dana Brooke.
Okay.
And if you want
So
to count Maurice, that's like I said,
so
if you want to count Maurice.
it
Oh, Aaliyah is
seems
on one of them shows.
I think she's on SmackDown.
I would say, yeah, she's on one of them. So wherever Leah falls, but yeah, that's it.
It seems that you have because I'm pretty sure it's two horsewomen per show.
Yes,
At least we'll see when Bailey returns. I'm pretty sure she'll go into Raw.
I would say so.
Um,
Technically, we still have Bailey and Lacey Evans out right now.
all right. Oh, damn! I completely forgot about Lacey Evans.
Yeah, so you have Bailey and Lacey Evans out. Bailey, Lacey Evans, and Alexa Bliss. So we
Well,
have them
that's
three
if
women out right now.
Lacey and Alexa decide to come back.
Well, I could see Lacey coming back. I could see her coming back. I could see Bliss potentially coming back.
Mhm.
So yeah, we still have them three women in the wings waiting for when they're good to go.
Okay.
So that's
So
all the women that's on the main roster at the moment.
so the thing that's throwing me off a little bit because it seems that you have the four horsewomen
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a roster of enhancement talent for the four horsewomen because it seems like you're gonna have them at the top. They'll battle for the tag team titles that which are not important at all right
Mm-hmm.
now or period, and you'll just have people contend for the women's championships on whichever respective show, and then you'll have the belts trade between the horsewomen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could be wrong. 2022 could have it to where you get a whole plethora of new
Well,
champions.
if day one has its way, potentially, which I doubt, Liv Morgan could beat Becky.
She should. It would be
So that
right.
would give a new champion. But the problem is, Liv Morgan beats Becky, then that goes back to square one between Becky, Doudrop, Bianca, and I'm pretty sure if they ever break away Rhea and Nikki ASH from the whole tag team scene. So it's not like it's gonna be that much people to contend with
Hmm.
unless they about to do some random NXT call ups, which I can
Yeah.
definitely see that happening. And then, Tony was going against Charlotte before Tony decided to call for her release. So unless they about to start once again, like you just mentioned, they're gonna most likely start running back Sasha versus Charlotte.
Yeah. And now I didn't see that match, but if I
I didn't
remember
see it
hearing it
either.
correctly, I don't know if Tony won that match by disqualification or
I think
because I
she
know
did she think she lost. She won the match by disqualification to get the title shot, but I think she actually lost the match.
okay. Uh
Right?
yeah, it's just the booking's weird because
Mhm.
I mean you think about all these call ups from NXT and they can sit here and they can say they want this change, but it's almost blatant when you look at it because it's like we're trying to they're trying to get rid of the NXT of old, like all the stars that Triple H brought in and brought up that he did right by. It's like they're just completely getting rid of, outside of a few other people,
Mhm.
but people that he had like a soft spot for. Tegan, for one, was somebody he had a soft spot for. Keith Lee, Karrion Cross, a lot of these guys he wanted to push majorly, and you know they just wanted to completely shit on,
Mhm.
and and then going by the interview that Karrion Cross had with Renee Paquette, they pretty much promised him that things were gonna go in his favor. They had plans for him, and then they just shit all over him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing because, you know, when I told my brother, shout out to Mike, when I told him about Tony Storm getting released, the first thing he was shit. They ain't know what to do with it anyway. The
Yeah.
problem is that why bring talent up with no plan?
Mm.
Like, that's the one thing I don't get. What's the point of doing call ups from NXT if you have no plan? Like, I can see if they get injured, or I can see if, something just goes wrong. But you called up Tegan, you called up Shotzi, you called up Tony, you called up Hit Row, mainly BFAB, then did nothing. Nothing. So I don't get it. I can see why Tony was like, you know what? I can see the writings on the wall here.
Yeah, and that's another thing, especially about the NXT call up deal, because now it seems with this whole NXT 2.0 thing, because I did catch a few things with like the Grayson Waller stuff with AJ Styles. They're keeping they're keeping continuity between the two shows with this, because I believe he was on Raw, right? Grayson
Mhm.
Waller ended up going to Raw.
Yeah, yeah,
So
he was front row on Raw, and AJ invited him in the ring to talk shit to him.
So they're able to do this now, but yet they wanted to abolish anything Triple H NXT related whenever they called these people up, because he basically made it easy to have these guys called up and be perfectly fine without
Mm-hmm.
any issues. But they go and they just do whatever the fuck they want and forget anything that Triple H did with them that actually made them credible stars.
Yep.
So it does seem like it's a complete like agenda filled thing, and it's like you can't look at it and then try to tell me that no, that's not what they're doing, and whatever they try to say, it's almost bullshit because the actions show vastly different outcomes.
Yes.
So yeah, now as far as Tony goes, yeah, they definitely didn't know what to do with her. Like
No.
it's crazy
No.
how they do her perfectly fine in the Mae Young Classic. They have her have that the finals in the Mae Young Classic with
Mm-hmm.
between her and Io Shirai, and have a fantastic match at Evolution. Then
Mm-hmm.
she goes to NXT UK and has the awesome underdog babyface rising story against Rhea Ripley and have
Mm-hmm.
her become champion. They do fine with that. Then they have her go to NXT US, have her become a heel, a good heel at that. Have her
Mm-hmm.
go into War Games, do all this other stuff. She kind of slowed down and feels it a little bit, but she was still fine. She
Mm-hmm.
gets called up, and you think they may do something with her, and then just nope, straight to catering. So it's not surprising that she requested a release. I'm glad that she requested a release
Oh,
because
I forgot too. There's another woman still waiting in the wings too. I forgot about Oscar.
oh shit,
I forgot Oscar.
poor Oscar.
So Oscar, Bailey, Lacey, and Bliss are still waiting. I
Okay,
totally forgot.
so then let me ask this, because I know it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a thing that people try to throw in there,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get into more of it later on when we get to AEW. But with all these women being released,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it hurts AEW to hire the majority of these women?
So I'm glad you brought this up because I've been thinking about this recently. 2022, AEW is going to have to make a serious decision here.
Mm,
And their decision is either going to be, do we keep. So AEW is going to have three different things that's going to have to happen. Either we keep the model we have right now to try to appease everybody, making sure people have jobs, making sure people survive. That's one avenue.
mm,
Avenue B is there's a lot of talent out there. Do we risk getting talent in risk of hurting what we have? Or Avenue C, pull the WWE route. All you people who's featured on Dark and Dark Elevation, we not gonna need you anymore because option B could happen.
mm.
Because you got to think, if we're looking at who's out there in the talent pool right now, it's a lot of people. We're still talking
True.
about the ROH people, and we're talking about the WWE people whose 90 days will be up in like February, March, and in Tony's case, I think April.
Yeah.
April going into May, I think. So I think they're gonna have to eventually start cutting a lot of losses in a sense to potentially get these people.
Okay.
But in this process, because like with them, I guess spoiler alert, with them just getting Mercedes Martinez,
Mm-hmm.
uh it's gonna be some serious thinking AEW's gonna have to do, because either they're gonna be the company who's gonna truly get all these ex people who just came from WWE,
Mm-hmm.
or they're gonna have to draw the line at some point.
Yeah. I I was thinking along the same lines of that, but I start thinking about how Tony Khan does his contracts. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't just fire people; he allows their contracts to go through
Yeah,
their
just
full extension,
yeah.
and then he decides whether or not he's going to either renew that contract or just cut ties, which I think is a fantastic business plan. Um, Now in terms of the women, I was worried at first because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, AEW might get a bad rap by allowing all these women to come in and end up taking spots. But then I thought about pretty much, I think Dynamite from this week,
Mm-hmm.
and they did a lot of women's promos and they did a lot of vignettes that they showed that showed like different feuds, so they're able to maintain a number of feuds at one time. And what I think they're going to end up doing, I think they're in the rebuilding process. I think what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing is they're getting all their assets together and they're finding out, okay, who's going to be at the top, the mid, and at the bottom. And I think they're going to kind of trim the fat, for lack of a better term.
I mean,
Um,
if we
Go ahead.
if I listing all those women,
Mm,
if Mia Yim, Ember, and a few others decide to go, because I know Marina has shown up.
yeah, I think
If a
she's
few of those women,
ROH.
uh, if a few of those women decide to truly show up, if let's just say Nia Jax wants to do it, because they already got Ruby Riott or Ruby Soho. I know Santana Garrett has made an appearance. Uh, like I said, Mercedes Martinez. So if like let's say Ember Moon, Tegan Knox, or Nixon, Newell, if all of these people want to show up, where does that put people like Statlander, Penelope Ford, Bunny, um, uh, Jamie Hayter, Riho, Amy Sakura, Abaddon? Where does that put some of them women? Because we know Britt Baker, we know Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose, um, maybe Sheeta. Who else? I know I'm forgetting some folks. Like people like Anna Jay, Ty Conti, all these people. Where would that start to
Mhm.
put them in this weird little bubble? Because if an influx of new women talent start coming in, where would that put them?
This is where they do their smartest thing. And this is why I like the fact or the idea of this TBS championship, because a mid uh, a mid card title for the women
Mm-hmm.
makes a lot of sense, because if you want to create the the potentially the best women's division in America,
Mm-hmm.
the best way to go about it is, of course, just like every other promotion has, they have a women's title. And that's normally all they have outside of Impact, WWE, that now have women's tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to showcase the workhorses, then you basically do what WWF did back in the day with the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
You basically get a crux of women. You get a good two handfuls of women, and you showcase how important this belt is before getting to the top. And
Yeah.
this is what I think that they're doing now, because a lot of the women that they have on there are, outside of the women that's been there from the beginning, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them are, dark and elevation mainstays.
Mm-hmm.
So they're particularly enhancement talent. And I think what they're going to end up doing after they do kind of trim the fat is they're going to start showcasing basically the playing field of who's going to be here and who's going to be like the top women to look out for and who's going to be the utility players, for the time being until
Okay.
something happens. So I think that's what they're going to do. Now I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong in this, but I'm hopeful that that's the plan that they're going with, because it leads me to believe that we are about to see a complete change in AEW's women division in the right direction with a lot of these experienced people, because Mercedes Martinez is a good get.
Yes.
And with the way that she's been showcased on Dynamite this week is perfect.
And not only
Um,
that, but then you have her automatically feuding with Thunder Rosa too.
exactly. And we'll get into that too when we talk about that match, which spoiler alert, it's a good match. Um, but yeah. So I but you know what, since we are talking about Tony, where do you think she goes?
Uh, Depending on where Juice is at.
That's right. That's
I would
right.
say I would say if Juice is in the States, she might stay in the States. She might make some appearances with Impact. She might make an appearance or two on AEW. So I think it all depends on Juice, because if Juice goes back to Japan, then she might go to I literally just had the promotion in my head.
NJPW,
But what's that women's division with Stardust, Shimmer,
Stardom.
Stardom? Thank you, Stardom. That's why I was thinking. I was like, I just had it. She might say so. I think it all depends on where Juice is at.
Now, you know what? Now that you say that, I think that she would be an amazing floater.
Yeah, she'll be amazing floating.
Matter of fact, I think she should do what Kenny was trying to do. I think
Oh,
she should
float
go and
between the
try to collect
companies.
belts. Yeah.
Mm. Like I said, she will be free come the beginning of April. So
Yeah.
right around the beginning of April, she'll be her 90-day clause will be up over with. So she got time to think about it.
Yeah. Perfect. Well then fuck it. Let's go ahead and just get into AEW then, since we already talking about it. They started off with a long ass
Fam,
10-man tag.
fam. Okay. AEW. AEW. I fucks with y'all heavy. Y'all actually got me really starting to like y'all again a lot. All of these multi-man matches y'all be throwing at us has to stop.
Yeah.
This 10-man tag made no sense. Jurassic Express. Did they kick Marco Stunt out the group
I
and
I don't
replace
know
him
if
with
he's
Christian?
injured or doing something else. Matter of fact, let me
I
find out,
think
because
they kick. I think they
I
kicked
was
Marco out the
asking
group.
that I was asking that myself.
But we talking about Jurassic Express with Christian, Lucha Bros versus FTR, and who else? Oh, the HFO. Yeah, okay. But for HFO and FTR to get the W.
Oh
But
no, it
then,
says Marco Sun isn't being moved away from the group.
uh,
I think he's just doing shit.
but then for it to lead to Lucha Brothers beefing with Jurassic Express, it's like, what was the point of that match then?
Yeah, they could have gone about this a completely different way,
Completely different way.
because it made sense. I think it was on Rampage when they came out to help them and they acknowledged the fact that they wanted the tag team titles. I was like, okay, cool, that's perfect. But to put them in a match to team up with each other, that's almost on WWE levels of booking.
It was.
And yeah, I didn't like that, because I think AEW is way better than that, and they have done better than that to build a tag team title match. So, and I mean, I don't. That's the thing, because I don't. I mean, it would suck if Jurassic Express did not win those titles from Lucha Brothers.
I think it's time for Lucha Bros to give up them belts.
Yeah, they haven't really. I mean, that's nothing against them. It's just their booking for as tag team champions has not been stellar.
I mean, if I'm really to be 100% honest, they really shouldn't have had beat the Young Bucks.
No, I
I
don't think
mean,
so either.
granted, I did guess that correctly, but they really shouldn't have had beat the Bucks.
It was a good moment,
It
but
was a good moment. The problem was that the issue was that them beating the Bucks, it would have been a lot better for Jurassic Express to beat the Bucks, considering
everything that's going on.
considering everything that was going on at the time. You know, it made sense for JE to beat the Bucks rather than the Lucha Bros. And
It actually would have made more sense with the storyline that the Bucks have going on with Cole and Red Dragon.
or that too, or
Because
that too.
that would have worked perfectly.
If the Bucks would have held on to the belts for this long,
Mm-hmm.
I you're right about that too. But yeah, I think it's time for the Jurassic Express. Go ahead and finally give Jungle Boy some gold.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and before we continue on, uh, how do you feel about Cody beating Sammy?
To be perfectly honest with you, I'm thinking it had to have been some backstage type politics with this
You think because of the
because
controversy?
Cody versus Ethan Page don't make sense.
You said it doesn't.
No, Ethan Page Ethan Page and the Men of the Year been beefing with Guevara for the past few months.
Mm-hmm.
So Cody fighting Ethan Page doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, like I said, so something must have happened for the reason that either Sammy must have some minor injuries, the whole him and Ty Conti thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
But something something isn't right with that situation.
Yeah.
I'm not the
Now that
biggest
you
fan of
bring
that.
now that you bring that up, it makes that whole Dan Lambert and Brandy Rhodes segment just
Hey
seem
yo,
completely out of place too.
hey yo, I'm gonna
Get,
say this. Brandy, Brandy, Brandy. I really do have nothing but love for you.
oh, yep. Go ahead and say it because I.
But I really want to say this as a black man. Please, please do not call yourself a black bitch again. Please. Because that's grounds for some serious racist shit. I understand you was dropping bars. You know, you a black belt, but I'm a black bitch. Please don't call yourself that. Please.
Yeah, but and you know what? With that, I still have an issue with her doing the whole
But
like
you know it's gonna be on a t-shirt. So
it is
please,
going to be on a T-shirt. People gonna buy that shit for the
please do not
wrong
refer to
reasons.
yourself as a black bitch. Because if Dan Lambert would have said you black bitch, that would have been the most racist shit ever. So please, please, Brandy, don't call yourself a black bitch again. I mean, I understood you can't infringe on Jade's trademark of being that bitch, but don't call yourself a black bitch.
Yeah, yeah,
That was the only. It was like honestly, everything they were saying was cool, but the moment Brandy said that, it derailed me from all of it.
and that's the thing about Brandy because I mean, outside of the fact of my issues with her doing the whole strong black woman like
Mm-hmm.
in some type of power position thing because that still kind of rose me weird.
Yeah.
Uh, her prom like again she has shock value promos where she has like something that she says that gets the crowd roaring,
Mm-hmm.
but
The
for the
less
most
talented
part,
Paul Heyman.
yeah. But that and then other shit, but like she it's almost like her promos can't read the room because she comes out like she's a baby face, and it's like she's still trying to get that whole thing over the whole who in the hell told you it was open mic night, which is cool,
Yes.
but it'd be different if her and Cody didn't have the backlash that they had. Because when she came out to it for the first time against Jade, when Jade was debuting,
Mm-hmm.
that made sense. It was perfect.
It
But
was.
because of the heat that her and Cody have right now, all they're gonna do is give Dan Lambert fuel to the fire to be a fan favorite. And I know what they were trying to do, trying to get them to get heat on him so that way they can start cheering them because nobody likes Dan Lambert. But I think they underestimated how much backlash they have from the fans
And you got to think, Brandy been having backlash
since Nightmare Collective.
damn near since the inception of AEW almost.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And that's just uh, uh, it's fine that they had the back and forth. That's cool and everything, but it just to me it's leading to nowhere because it's not like Cody's finna drop the title to Ethan Page.
no, because then, like you said, what would be the point of taking it from Sammy?
Yeah, because that point you'd be like, okay, why didn't they just let him beat Sammy for the title? If this is not leading to a full-fledged Cody heel turn, this is completely for nothing because as good as Cody is as a champion, it's not gonna help anything for the long run. It's
Mm-mm.
gonna be a temporary thing. Like, oh, they'll be like, oh yeah, he has good matches. That's fine. He's doing stuff for the title. But nobody's gonna give a shit at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, no.
So yeah, but you know what? Because we're jumping all over the place. But speaking of Jade and Thunder
Oh,
Rosa.
wait.
Oh, go
Before
ahead.
we get there, because that's gonna be more of the highlight.
Oh, okay.
Santana, Ortiz, Kingston versus Daniel Garcia in 2.0. Jericho. What was that? What was that? What was that, Chris? You waited till they hit your boy with the ring bell, then you come out there, then you standing out there letting them sing your theme song while your bands is laying on the ground. You ain't even go check on them. You just standing there in the moment of them singing your theme song. Unless that's supposed to play into the storyline, that was just trash.
You are absolutely right. And I'm glad you said that last part, unless it's playing into the storyline. So I'm down with the feud between Kingston and Jericho. Because
Yeah.
if that's what they're doing, if they throw the song into it, cool. I have no issue with it because then that's gonna make sense. But if this has nothing to do with the feud, then this shit is selfish as fuck. And
Selfish as fuck.
because yeah, we get it. The song is a commodity. It's hot and everything like that. Fine, but there's a time and a place. You could have easily like why do you need fireworks and your theme song to play for a run in? I this really needs to play into this feud.
It has to. It
Um,
has to.
because I would be okay if this is like the like departure for Proud and Powerful to leave Inner Circle and maybe they do like a new version of LAX.
With them in
Cool.
Kingston.
Them Kingston and hell, throw Guevara in there because Jake Hager ain't
Oh,
been
that's
anywhere.
true.
So
Yeah.
and yeah, then I'd be fine. But yeah, if this has nothing to do with this feud, then Jericho really needs to rethink a lot of things that he's doing because there's been some questionable decisions that Jericho has made over the course of this past year.
Well, I think I mentioned it on here before, but Brian Last thinks all of this shit Jericho has been doing since he's been in AEW is all the shit that WWE wouldn't let him do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Brian Last had said. I think after was it the Dinner Debonair segment or something
I
like
think so.
that?
Yeah.
I think it was after that, but he said that all of this shit Jericho is doing is all the stuff that WWE wouldn't let him do, and now he's living out his fantasies of just getting all of this shit out.
Yeah. And I'm not with it. I'm not with it.
Not at
It's
all.
just too much.
Not at
So
all. But hey, we here.
yeah. What else was of note? No,
Uh,
I did like how they're setting up this tag team street fight between Anna
Bunny,
Jay and
yeah,
Conti against yeah
Bunny and
Ford
Penelope
and Bunny.
Ford, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we also had CM Punk's promo and MJF's promo, which it seems like they're trying to steer them away from each other for it to eventually come back to each other.
which is smart.
Yes.
Which is smart because it's not them blowing their load on something. It's we're going to give everybody a taste for something right now, let you know it's on the horizon, and then we're going to come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, give it a nice payoff. Don't just throw it away. Which fuck it, we'll go ahead and get into this too. The Hangman and Danielson situation. I'm still on the fence about this
Oh, I am too. I told
because
I told you and Jaeger how I felt
mm-hmm,
that. I mean, granted Danielson rectified it by saying we can have judges,
yeah,
but it's like, one, what's going to stop it from going to a 60-minute draw again, and then
mm-hmm.
two, this whole judges situation is going to be kind of like a I guess.
it it reminds me of damn, what title was that in Impact that they had they actually
Oh,
I think it was it the Grand the nah, it was the
uh,
Legends title.
they had the rounds to it.
Yeah,
No, it was something that. Hold on, it was something else. The grand something.
because that's as soon as they said judges, it immediately uh brought me to that. And I was like,
Let's see. Impact Grand Championship. Wait, that
that's
it?
what that was. Damn, that sounds right. Still sounds weird,
Uh,
but that sounds
it
right.
does.
Fuck it, we're gonna say that's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah. It was introduced by when Billy Corgan was president,
Yeah,
and it was originally the King of the Mountain Championship,
that's what it was. Yeah.
and he renamed it to what that was. And it
Okay.
was basically the new rules will be similar to how bouts were contested in professional wrestling in Europe, which each match will consist of 3-time rounds with a
Hmm.
team of judges to determine the outcome based on points if there's no winner via pinfall or submission.
Yeah. And that's why this whole judges thing is weird to me because it's like when you think about MMA, UFC, Bellator, all
Mm-hmm.
that, they judge based on specific criteria within a fight on a point
Yes.
system. With this, nothing has been introduced to where you can just judge anything on a point system because everything is based on, disqualification, submission, pin, whatever. And to just throw this out there to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna have judges without establishing any. Now, granted, AEW may establish like certain rules as to how they're gonna judge it, but it's gonna be a hard sell for people that still are skeptical of this whole situation.
Yes.
Now, that's just that issue. But my issue is just how soon this match is. I would have rather them extend this just a little bit, kind of how they're doing the Punk and MJF thing.
All right, if they wanted to go ahead and have it right away, why not save it for Battle of the Belts?
Or that, yeah, that makes sense too.
Because
I
so far
That's what
there's
I
only
thought.
because so far there's only one match announced for Battle of the Belts, and that's Riho and Dr. Baker.
That's true. Because
That's the
every
only match
that's a
announced
Night of
for that.
Champions, right?
Yeah, that's the only match announced for that show.
So that means we won't get a match in that. Wait, when is
The 8th.
the 8th of January?
Yeah, like it's soon. It might not be hold on, is it the 8th? But I know it's a soon like it's like next week.
Wait, so then Hangman and Danielson is next week then, isn't it?
Hangman and Danielson is the debut of
Oh, on
Impact
TBS.
on not Impact, sorry. Dynamite on
Dynamite.
TBS. Yeah, January 8th. It's gonna be a special on TNT. That's January 8th. Yeah, so next Saturday.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. So it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday night event that's airing on TNT. And so far, it's only Dr. Baker and Riho announced for it.
So wait. That's weird because if Danielson
Very.
and Hangman are there's just a few nights before
Then are they going to
that,
expect Hangman to defend his belt again Saturday?
unless they're planning on no, because see, unless they're planning on having something happen during that match to have this match happen at that, which again would be WWE booking.
WWE esque booking.
Oh yeah, I really don't know how I feel about this now. Cause
Because if
see,
they have a match Wednesday, then potentially run it back again Saturday, that's going to be wild.
yeah, and so now I'm gonna go into Wednesday thinking about Saturday and not really be like, oh, I'm not even focused on the match. I'm like focused, okay, well, what the
Because
fuck is supposed to
then,
happen?
because then, also too, next Wednesday, I think it's next Wednesday, Jurassic Express versus Lucha Brothers.
Huh.
Because that wasn't announced for Battle of the Belts. That was announced for I think Dynamite
Okay, this yeah, none of this makes sense now
at
at
all.
all. And I don't think anybody's been talking about this either. Like it just none of this
Not
makes
really.
any fucking sense. Cause
So okay, so far for Wednesday, for the first Dynamite on TBS,
we got the
we
TBS
have
title.
Hangman and Danielson,
Mm-hmm.
Cargill and Soho for the TBS title,
Mm-hmm.
Malachi versus Pillman Jr., and Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express for the tag titles.
Also, wait, that's next week then.
That's next Wednesday.
Okay. So
And tonight, of course, we're getting Cody versus Ethan Page. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to run back Cody versus Guevara next Saturday.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not worried about the team because I mean Cody with the way Cody was defending the title like every fucking
True.
Wednesday, I was like, yeah, okay, cool, it makes sense. But to have 3 title matches few days
Mm-hmm.
before your AEW's Night of Champions,
Mm-hmm.
that's this is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they should have booked that so close to the TBS debut of Dynamite because I yeah, I don't know. I guess I gotta wait to see what happens. But right now,
Yeah.
it's very confusing, and I don't think it's a good idea. But speaking of Brian Pillman Jr., this got me heated because this motherfucker showed so much emotion with this whole Malachi Black thing because he beat up Griff Garrison. But MJF a couple months ago was completely trashing the fuck out of your family. And you come out smiling because you in your hometown? Bruh, you need to get your priorities straight. Because I like what you showed here, but where was this shit back then? Because it's hard for me to take this part seriously when I'm looking at what happened then, and I'm like, yo, you showed this here for something that's not as major as what was said about your family a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, maybe he finally took the criticism and was like, I got to start showing something.
I
Cool,
think that's what
make
it
the
was.
changes. Yeah, but it's man, you're gonna have to understand that it's gonna be a
Yeah.
whole lot of people comparing anything you do now for the next few months to that and wondering what the fuck happened. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll understand. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that you didn't just take the hint then, because that was your moment.
Right? Like he talked about your dad and mom, and you was just like, "Don't do that, MJF. How dare you?" I'm like, what?
and still coming out smiling.
But okay, I guess.
um, now Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa. Shout out to Thunder Rosa for coming out as X23. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
yes.
Um,
Bleacher Report had a slight issue with this match.
I had a small issue with it too.
Bleacher
Um,
Report said that it went too long and it showed how green Cargill is.
yeah. There were a few spots, primarily the one outside the ring where Thunder Rosa had basically got Jade Cargill on her back like effortlessly
Mm-hmm.
to work the leg. I think Jade may have missed a spot, which I mean it's understandable. I've gone into every Jade match knowing that she is somewhat green,
Yes,
but you know she does have the makeup of somebody who can get better because
yes,
she can hide a lot with her physique and her promo ability. So I'm fine, but because her promo when she first debuted, her promo game was
rough,
trash,
rough, very
and
rough.
now she got it. So I'm fine with that. So all we gotta do is get the in ring. Which her when she's doing squash matches, her in ring's fine. But when she's up against like vets and experienced professional wrestlers, it's a little rough for her because I don't know if she can really call her own match from beginning to end, which
Yeah.
has me worried if they decide to put the title on her. Because if they do, that may put a fucking spotlight on her greenery.
Well, so this is the thing. We have we have one or two options. Option
Mhm.
one, do we put the belt on Soho and Jade suffers first loss? Or do we keep Jade's streak going and she wins? I would prefer if they do option B to where Jade just goes. So the problem is with AEW, treat Jade like Warlow.
Mhm.
Treat Jade like Warlow. She don't have to have these bangers of quote unquote matches. She can go in there, do that bicycle kick, hit Jaded, boom, call it a day. She don't have to have these. Granted, yes, it makes sense for her and Thunder Rosa to have a nice little match. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's going to make sense for her and Ruby Soho to have a nice little match. But if she beats Ruby and gets that belt, don't be having Jade trying to have these clinics. Have her go in there as the champion, wop bop bing.
Hmm.
Let's keep it moving.
Okay. Now, I'm with you on that. I think that she should get the title, but I also think that she is going to with the introduction of Mercedes Martinez. Now, they did not specify their relationship,
True.
but it seems like she may be um under Smart Mark Sterling,
Yes.
which would be good on two accounts. One, she can basically be um Jade Cargill's Jamie Hayter to her Britt Baker,
Mm-hmm.
which helps. On top of that, Mercedes Martinez is so experienced in this game that she could actually be the one to elevate Jade Cargill's game behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a valid reason to sign Mercedes Martinez
Yes.
to basically be the utility player that she is because she does this job very fucking well. And now I definitely did not expect it to be her that had hit Thunder Rosa. I thought it would have been somebody from Britt Baker's camp. But I'm glad that it was that surprise because I was genuinely excited for it because
Mm-hmm.
not only for the fact of what I said about Jade Cargill and their relationship potentially going forward, but for the fact that right now this is a good way to write Thunder Rosa out of the TBS championship picture and insert her organically into the Britt Baker stuff because now you
Mm-hmm.
got a buffer. Now you have a feud with her and Mercedes Martinez, which is going to get her back into her winning ways after this loss, and then get her fast track after this whole thing with Britt Baker and Riho is said and done, and good to go. So I like that. They're doing fantastic with that. Now, I know people are gonna have an issue with the way that the match went and saying that it wasn't a clean finish, but
Eh,
I'm okay. I'm okay with it being this because at least it was it was accompanied with a debut of somebody, so it
not
made
only that
sense.
too, but then now give Thunder Rosa the way to circle back around and be like, "Hey, you, Jade, I
That's true.
understand you being champion. I done already beat up your homegirl. I'm gonna need you to run it back. And then since you screwed me out that title, let's do it for the title."
Yeah, yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that too. That's actually really good too.
Yeah.
Um, Now of course we had the stuff with Bucks, and you know former Undisputed Era members.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mhm.
I didn't care for none of this.
I didn't I didn't either, but at least now a lot of the shit makes sense. Like even the awkward shit from last week with O'Reilly's debut. I
Yeah.
don't I wouldn't have agreed with the way of going about it this way, but I understand it. And that's the fact that they're trying to continue the stuff like saying, okay, yeah, we had a checkered past, alluding
Mm-hmm.
to the whole NXT feud. So
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. But I'm not behind it like that because I'm like, yo, that's in the past. Leave it alone. Don't even worry about it. Pretend like it never fucking happened. But hey, they want to keep that continuity. Fine.
Yeah.
But I would have made it have. I would have executed a different way. Like you have him come out and then help, but then you have Adam Cole having the issues with him helping and having that stare
Mm-hmm.
down. But then you flip on the next week, and now O'Reilly's the one that has issues with Cole. And it's just like it just none of it made sense. It was just very fucking weird. Then their entrance, they're all perfectly fine during the entrance. So it's like, I'm yeah, it's just confusing. It's just confusing. But
Or maybe they're trying to plant that seed of doubt for the Bucks to have that lure of false sense that Cole is
mm,
really on their side until you know the era gets back together.
yeah, I'm gonna have faith in this because I'm hopeful because I do like them together,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna trust the process. And I know Cole has always said that he said, "Yo, you just gotta wait and see what happens." I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't like what I'm seeing, but I'm gonna be hopeful for the outcome. So yeah, and the main event was fine.
Yeah.
It was it
Fine.
was
It was just,
cool. But yeah, that's all it was. Like I would have rather personally I would have rather O'Reilly have a match on his own, just like Cole got a chance to do, like Fish got a chance to
yeah.
do. I wouldn't want him back in a situation where it's like, okay, yeah, this would made all three of you hot in NXT. Here, let's replicate the same thing and do it here. I was like, no, let O'Reilly stand on his own 2 feet and still do Red Dragon, but just saying.
Yeah.
But
Once again, we have to just trust the process.
yeah. Um I don't. Was there anything else? I mean, Jr's back. Jr. I believe is
Yeah.
cancer free.
Yes. Yes. JR is cancer free. He's back. It was good to hear old JR.
Um, and Hook is potentially going to get a TNT title match down the line whenever they go back to.
New York.
Yeah, I guess it was New York. Yeah, whenever they go back there, I guess he's going to get his title match from Cody if Cody's still champion, which he obviously will be. But
Most likely.
yeah, I guess we just have to wait to see what happens between next Wednesday and next Saturday to see if
Mm-hmm.
they make sense of any of this booking weirdness. But
Yeah.
um that's pretty much all I have on that end. Scoot, I don't know if you have anything that you want to throw in there.
Uh, as far as Dynamite, that's about it. But the one thing I really want to bring up is more of a wrestling thing.
Ah,
WWE in particular. So, I'm pretty sure you knew that a bunch of COVID cases hit up with WWE, and
yes.
boy, did they have to scramble for Monday night.
Mm. Did you watch Monday night?
I watched a good chunk of it. I think I fell asleep at the last little bit when Miz and Maurice was supposed to renew their vows.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. Miz and Maurice was supposed to renew their vows with a special guest. But uh so if y'all didn't hear, Big E, Seth Rollins, uh who else? Big E, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns. It's a few people that's under. It's a lot of people that's under COVID protocols. So the way they did it Monday, uh, I forgot what started off the show, but then what was it, the AJ Styles stuff?
I have no idea.
Because AJ was supposed to fight almost.
I
Then
know they scrapped that.
they scrapped it, and Apollo Cruz and Aziz came out. Aziz said he was gonna do it, but then Apollo Cruz was like, "Nah, I'll do it." So we end up getting Cruz versus Styles.
Oh, that's not
They
bad.
did the whole finals between the Street Profits and the Mysterios to see who was gonna get the title shot. The Profits won.
Mm.
Um, they had segments of Big E talking, segments of Rollins talking. Like I said, they did a bunch of stuff to scramble. And if you
Yeah.
knew the stuff behind the scenes, then you knew. This is the one, I guess, the controversial thing. The special guest of Miz was Eric Bischoff.
That I did hear.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, so I guess Bischoff is somewhat in the graces again. I don't know. But during the vow renewal, it led to Edge doing the brood bath to Miz and Maurice. So the issue what I'm bringing up is because same thing happened with NXT. Why are these go home shows so dry? To say these supposed to be the go home shows, because NXT go home show going into New Year's Evil,
Mm-hmm.
Raw show going into day one Saturday, then tonight on SmackDown. I don't even think they even advertise any matches. They just advertise the top 10 moments of WWE.
Oh wow, they're having a compilation show. That's
So they might have some segments. But what's up with these whack ass go home shows slash last episodes of the year?
I don't. So it's easy to say. It's well, the easiest thing to say is that WWE just doesn't give a shit. Like they don't care. They know that you're gonna watch.
Okay.
They just resting on that. But there has to be some level of just there has to be some level of care. But I just don't think things are. I feel like there may be a disconnect. I'm
There has to
on the
be.
side of the positive outlook on it, and I'm like, you know what, maybe they just can't figure out what direction they want to go, and nobody wants to upset Vince, so they just kind of go with the easiest decision. uh I don't I just this and this one probably one of the main reasons why I don't watch WWE as it is now or as of late is because of the fact that I feel like they don't give a shit about who's watching because they're just gonna throw whatever because they're expecting you to like just take it for what it is because of them resting on what how WWE was built up throughout the years and what everybody cared about. So now
Yeah.
since they're resting on that, they feel like they don't have to try because they're the big dogs. And it's hard for me to watch something when I feel like there's no life. And I think it's just that they're just resting on that. That's the easiest thing to say, but I would hope that maybe they're trying and they just can't find something to agree on.
Well, okay, so I hear what you're saying, but take
Mm.
NXT. Did you happen to
Yeah.
watch NXT at all?
No, I haven't watched NXT maybe for 3 weeks, maybe probably 2 weeks.
Want me to tell you the truly biggest highlight of NXT going into New Year's Evil?
Go ahead.
The Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong contract signing.
Oh, they had a contract signing for that. Interesting.
But you know who actually made it interesting?
You about to say Bivens?
Bivens. I'm gonna tell you why.
I mean, he get
I'm
look.
gonna no no no.
I
I'm gonna
take
tell you
nothing from
why.
him.
So of course, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Trick come out there talking the way they're talking. Diamond Mine was looking confused. Bivens was like, "I'll translate." So he translated what Trick Trick and Hayes was saying to Roger Strong. Then when Roger Strong said what he said, he was like, "Don't worry, I'll translate. Hey, Mello, nuck if you buck." Like he was saying all of these different things. And so he was actually the MVP of the segment because he was translating the slang to them, and then he also translated Strong's stuff into slang to say back to Hayes and Trick Trick. But
Okay, that's nice. I like
yeah,
the
like
thought
if
of
you
that.
go back
So,
and watch that segment, that was worth it. But they also did the WWE style of booking
mm,
because going into it, it was supposed to be Cora Jade, Raquel Gonzalez, Mandy Rose. All of a sudden, backstage, Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray starts charging up Jade and Gonzalez, saying we should be number one contenders to the match as well. Why is it just y'all? So they're doing this a week before. So Mandy, once again appearing from her hot tub, pops on screen and say, "Hey, I want to give my ladies the night off. How about we just do Cora Jade, Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray? The winning team is the team that's going to fight me
mm,
at New Year's Eve." Of course, Jade and Raquel won, but they only did packages for Braun Breaker and Tommaso. Uh, MSK is going to team up with Riddle to fight Imperium with Walter. So that's still going to hold off the tag team division some more until MSK and Imperium get their fair one-on-one. They advertise Briggs and Jensen, GYV, Jacket Time, and Creed Brothers all vying for the tag titles.
mhm.
Um, Tiffany Stratton debuted. Um,
Is she worth it?
you can see the greenness. Um, her nickname is the Buff Barbie Doll. They giving her the rich girl gimmick, but it seems like it's kind of what they wanted to do a little bit with Frankie Monet
Mm,
because, like I said, she's still the rich girl, but I don't know exactly how is it going to land all together.
yeah.
Um, she's impressive to look in the ring because the whole gymnast and all of that, but we've seen it before too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We have to see where that's gonna go. Um, what else happened on NXT? Oh, Tony D called that PD saying that what I did to your hand will be worse if you step to me again. Blah 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 blah. AJ Styles is gonna confront Grayson Waller at New Year's Evil. So it's like I don't get half of this shit. So once again, like this is a horrible go home show for New Year's Evil.
Yeah, I mean, at
Like,
this point, it's WWE everything.
yeah, yeah. And
And
then, like I
that's why it's
said,
hard
we
for me to
got
watch.
then we got day one come Saturday,
Hmm.
and the matches that are advertised for day one, you know, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it could be a decent pay per view on paper, but WWE can WWE at the same time.
Yeah, clearly, because me even listening to your synopsis of everything that's going on, like outside of the few things that kind of piqued my interest. I mean, one, the Bivens segment for the contract signing,
Like
and
I said,
then just to
definitely check that
see,
out because that was interesting.
yeah,
That was kind of cool.
And just to see the Tiffany Stratton debut, there's
Yeah, you
nothing
can watch that
outside
too.
of anything else. I'm like just hammering to see. I'm just like, oh, okay, if it happens, cool. If not, I don't feel like I missed anything
Yeah,
because everything else is for like entertainment purposes for the most part. So I'm just like, yeah,
because I
and
mean,
that's what I don't want in my professional wrestling.
for right now with day one, I think they added it to the card, but I think it's supposed to be Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title.
Hmm.
We're gonna have RK Bro versus Street Profits. We're gonna have the Usos versus New Day. We're gonna have Liv versus Becky. We're gonna have Big E versus Lashley versus Rollins versus Owens, and we're gonna have Brock and Roman. And I think the pre-show match is Ricochet and Cesaro versus Ridge and Sheamus. And I think that's all the matches for day one.
Wait, is Damian Priest still U.S. champion?
Yes. He just defended his title against Dolph Ziggler Monday.
Okay. Now, um, I'm going to attempt to watch day one. I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to watch it because the card does pique my interest a little bit because
Yeah, it does a little bit, yeah.
it does. I mean, outside of the whole Roman thing, because I mean Roman and Brock, yeah, it could be a good match. It may not be a good match, but it's like the same song and dance. But everything
Mm-hmm.
else, I'm hoping I'm going in hoping to be pleasantly surprised. So I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot, and then we'll do the hot tag, and then we'll see where I stand on
Yeah.
it. So yeah, um, outside of that, Scoot, you got any final thoughts about this week?
Uh no. Uh yes. One final thought, which should have been in the beginning. So we apologize. Brody. Brody. We still miss you, good sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
still miss you here. You will never be forgotten. Bruce Mitchell, we didn't forget about you too. So before this year is over with, definitely fuck you again.
Fuck
Uh,
Bruce
but,
Mitchell.
but Brody Lee, sir, your impact is still here. You will not be
Hmm.
forgotten. So that should have definitely been mentioned in the beginning. But you know, other than that, that's really it. 2022 is upon us. Tomorrow, in a few hours, a new
Yeah.
year, and we'll see what this new year brings in wrestling and what moments we could potentially have.
Oh, it's gonna be plenty on our end. Now, as far as on the personal wrestling front, I don't know, but we're gonna have a lot of fun in 2022 for
Oh
sure.
yeah, we definitely will.
But I guess I'm gonna have to warm it up for one
Oh yeah,
last time this year until
one last time this year. Uh,
and
gotta,
yeah, I'm
man.
sure Yeager's doing it in spirit. So good
Yep.
old good
Hey.
bada bam. So all there's left to say is, again, people, whether you love the shit, hate the shit, don't forget to rate the shit. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, questions, concerns, grievances, whatever the case may be, down below in the comment section. Hit that notification bell to get notified on everything that we
We
drop.
almost at
Follow.
50. Let me do it right way. We almost at 50 subscribers in this
There
bitch.
we go. Hey, look, every little bit counts, and we appreciate the whole deal. Look. I promise each and every one of you, when we get to higher and higher levels, it's going to be the same way every single time. So follow Less Than Stealthy Ninjas, follow Planet Nico, follow the whole content coalition, JSB over there on Juggernaut. Uh, everybody,
Everybody. Follow my boy CJ the Hero. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Follow all of us. We all one big family here.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got all
look,
individual stuff too, but follow everybody. Follow just the whole
look, sharing the
coalition.
wealth. We're gonna
Follow it
that's what
all.
we're gonna be like the YouTube Avengers eventually. Something
You
gonna
know what
happen.
I'm saying? With some
But
Planet Nico's people, you know, he got the Viking Prince,
mhm,
Pandemoniums, all of it. We all just one big family here. Follow all of it.
right.
All of it.
Just
Somebody,
follow
one
that.
of us gonna entertain you, god damn it.
You goddamn right. Somebody's going to. You know what? The most important thing outside all that you can do is motherfucking subscribe to the average gamers. So hit that shit. So that way it makes it easy, makes your life easier. Simple as that.
It
But
really does.
until next year, when you see these handsome faces and hear these immaculate
Hey.
voices, I bid you all a nice 2021 farewell. But as always, until next time, you beautiful, 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 beautiful mother effers, tag the fucketh.